Hi, my name's Mr. Dis. I wanted to give all of you a big welcome here and tell you a little bit about the ALC class. So, first of all, my name's Mr. Dis, and I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a grandfather, and I've taught at PCC for over 2 decades now. So, I really enjoy it. Otherwise, I guess if I didn't enjoy it, I must be a glutton for punishment. I really enjoy the students at PCC. I've had a lot of successes. They've had a lot of successes. I've taught grade school, high school, and mainly math, but I've taught other subjects too. So again, big welcome. And I'm really glad you signed up for this class. Okay, let me go over a few things with you. So the first thing is this class is not a typical math class where the teacher will be doing most of the instruction and you'll be taking quizzes and doing homework and tests. It's an individualized class where you'll be working with an ALC program and you'll do a knowledge check to begin with, and then depending on what questions you answer correctly, which ones you answer incorrectly, you get an individualized path of instruction. And that will constantly change. Let's say that you start working with graphing and you start running into some trouble with positive and negative numbers. The program's pretty smart and it'll notice that. So it'll back up a little bit and it'll give you some problems just dealing with positive and negative numbers, so that when you get back into the graphing, then you won't have that trouble. The other thing you get is some individualized instruction with your instructor. That's me, Mr. Dis. And I, as I mentioned earlier, I really enjoy teaching the math. So please don't hesitate to ask questions. And unfortunately, there's a tendency when people are working on a computer and the computer's asking the questions and you're not in a classroom and you're inputting all your answers into the computer with a little bit of work on paper, there's a tendency to not ask the instructor questions. So there'll be many times available during the week so you can ask me questions. And we can also do it by phone, do it by video, or do it by email exchange. I also have access to your questions on the ALC program, so I can see, what the questions are that are being asked of you, and then I can see how you responded to those questions. So be diligent with everything. I do want to add, outside of the ALC program, is make sure you know how to multiply well. That's the downfall of students, whether they're young students or older students in math, and whether they're taking just general math or calculus. Make sure you know how to multiply 1 times 1 up to 12 times 12 as fast as your name. And I think you'll find that'll make a huge difference. I've seen that. I've actually taught math for nearly 40 years off and on. So actually even a little longer than that. So, but and I've seen that. Seeing when people don't know their timetables, it's a real hindrance. So, and on the other hand, when you've got your timetables memorized, it works out well. Okay, so anyhow, back to our ALC class. Make sure you work diligently. If you signed up for 2 credit hours, you need to work about 10 hours a week for 6 weeks, for a total of 60 hours. If you sign up for 1 credit hour, you have to work 5 hours a week for about 30 hours. And you will have to meet with me once a week. It might only take a couple of minutes. It might take a half hour if you have some math questions. And you will be filling out some status information of where you are and other things of that sort. So there's a status report, the one-on-one meeting, and then your hours in ALEX. Lastly, again, please ask questions, not just math questions, but any other questions, or if you have any difficulties with things in life. I'm not a counselor, doctor, priest, rabbi. imam, minister, but I always like to tell students I put RP after my name, regular person. Sometimes you just need to talk with a regular person with 2 ears and a big heart, and I promise to give you that. One final thing with the class, please look at email quite regularly, because we're not in a classroom and I can't say, hey, listen up. You've got to look at the email so you know what's going on with instructions of how to use the program, codes, and how to use all sorts of other software that we might be using at PCC. Again, thank you so much. I wish you a good term and blessings with this math class and in all aspects of your life.